Good morning, everybody. Thanks for getting up bright and early for some of you. Some of you it might be a bit later, but thanks for joining me. And I'm really excited to kind of kick things off and talk about why influencer marketing needs to be part of your marketing plan, especially with Black Friday, Cyber Monday coming up. So I hope to make some pretty compelling cases here for everybody as they are looking to the holidays and beyond and what influencer marketing can do for you. So first things first, who am I? So you're all tuning in, you're listening to me speak. I think it's important to let you know a little bit about me. So I'm Hannah Cameron. I'm the content marketing manager over at #paid. But before that, I worked at a lot of other brands. So SurveyMonkey, Vidyard, Sun Life. I've kind of seen the full spectrum of B2B, B2C, D2C, big, small, public, not public. So I really have a background in tech and startups, but also large brands as well. So I've seen kind of every aspect of a marketing plan, what works, what definitely doesn't work, and where a lot of struggles and confusion comes in. So I'm now really excited to take all of that I've learned and join the fine folks at Paid and help them, bring influencer marketing and education to a lot more companies, both in e-commerce and outside of it. So my goal for today is that we're going to cover 5 topics about why this really does need to be part of your marketing plan, covering things like influencers or creators. There is a difference and why that's important, especially if you're looking at a really tight turnaround to get something launched like Black Friday, Cyber Monday ads. It's really great to know why you'd want a creator over an influencer. The strength of having a multidimensional marketing plan, so not just the traditional, tactics and aspects, but why everything needs to be incorporated, including IM, and how quickly you can actually get started with this. So kind of breaking down the wall that this takes a long time and, takes months and months and months to get going, and that you can actually get started a lot more quickly than you think. So influencers or creators, I actually hear this a lot. This is something that I learned as well when I was breaking into this industry, is that there actually is a difference between an influencer and a creator. Typically, when we think influencers, a lot of people automatically think celebrities, Kim Kardashian, hockey players, football players, sports stars, just people with massive followings on social, and we consider them to be the influencers. Typically, when working with a celebrity or a large influencer, it really is to them about money. They want to delete the posting after they've shared it. They really prefer you to write the content for them. I'm sure we've all seen some of those ads where they've forgotten to delete the text and it says, "Hey, Kim, please share this on your Instagram and put these words in it and these hashtags." And she's copied and pasted all of that and posted it to her Instagram. And they typically have poor follower health. So what I mean by that is millions of followers, wish I had that many, but the engagement is next to nothing. And these are what we typically see when we think big influencers. The shift that we want to make is to creators. These are the new, the new iteration of influencers, the new genre, the new up and comers, because the work is their craft. So they're not going to get pre-written messages from you. They're going to work with you to build the content. They're going to want to take the videos and the photos. They're going to want to speak up and help with your campaigns and let you know that this is the audience that I've built and I've nurtured and I love, and I know exactly how we can reach them with your brand. They put a lot of thought behind what they create for you, and they know that building their audience was hard. So a lot of the times they started with nothing and they worked really, really hard to get those audiences built on trust. So a lot of what we talk about at #paid and that I'll talk about here is thinking of them as a creator and really looking for that style of influencer. Because when you work with a creator, you're not just getting content, you're getting distribution. So think of it very much like you're getting a brand new channel. So when you're getting a creator, you get this distribution channel. So it's a whole other visibility method for you when you're going out to promote your brand. So you're getting a different message to the market through the mouths of influential people. It's coming from a creator, which makes this more like word of mouth. So there's a lot more trust and authenticity to what they're putting out because you haven't given them a photo and a generic message. They have created this for you and let you know why this resonates with your brand and why they're going to get a great response from their audience. You also get a lot of the work that an agency would do when working with a creator. So, like I mentioned, creators are going to want to be part of this process. They're going to say, hey, I've got great ideas for a video. Ooh, I know a great carousel idea, and I think I can get the great photos for this. They want to be part of that process. So it's almost like you have a mini agency, a mini, flock of freelancers working for you, creating this unique content that you yourself might not have time to create, that you don't have the budget or the resources to make. And they are skilled at this. They built a whole audience around curated photos and videos. So let the experts help you out. Let them create your ads for you. So you're gaining a lot of experience with their work, but you're also just getting, a creator that understands you and understands their space. So give them the license and the freedom to really present you some amazing options. And I think you'll be really impressed with what they can do. So one of the biggest things that comes across my plate is that, well, this is just for e-commerce and DTC. So, this is just for direct to consumer. Nobody else is really picking up on it. And I would definitely say that's not true. So B2B and B2C have been using this for a while. They just have been calling it thought leadership. So you've seen a lot of brands who will have virtual conferences or who will have big ebooks or webinars going out, and they'll reach out to someone who's a VP or CMO, a big company like Facebook or Microsoft, and say, hey, I really want you to promote my ebook. It's going to be really great for our audience, but you're a thought leader and they're going to read it if you trust that this is good content. So they've been doing it for a while. And the reason I like highlighting this, especially for e-commerce brands, is they're coming. So they're figuring this out. They're adopting influencer marketing at really rapid rates, and they're seeing really interesting and awesome returns on it. So the competition to get into influencer marketing is going to grow, and there's going to be a lot more industries. So a great example is Microsoft. So Microsoft actually got into influencer marketing and wanted to promote that they believed more women should be in STEM. How are they going to do this? How are they going to get people convinced that they're donating enough or doing enough? So they actually partnered with National Geographic and reached out to some of the biggest travel influencers and asked them to just start putting out lots of content about traveling, and they were going to pay for them to go do their scientific research in all of these beautiful places. And so the whole key of this was that Microsoft wanted to encourage women to work in science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM. And empower them to pursue their dream with their whole what's next or make what's next campaign. And the results were overwhelming for them. They posted 30 photos on 5 influencer channels, including National Geographic, and they tripled their followers and response rate. They had way more females apply to work for them. And they actually were trending on Twitter for their Make What's Next campaign. This was back in 2013, 14. So they really kind of caught on to this early on, and were really big in this space, and it's working well for them. American Express is catching up. So they've decided that they want to start promoting Amex Platinum and becoming an Amex ambassador to companies. So they tried to just market it right to companies and they couldn't get through. Tons of gatekeepers. Who do we reach out to? So they reached out to influencers and decided we're going to target the people at these companies that are going to be able to start dropping these nuggets to the executives that we want this. This is great. We want to be able to use this on our corporate trips. COVID makes us a little sad right now, but back in the day when you could travel, this is what they were doing. And it actually worked really well for them. Their photos were beautiful. And these were all created by influencers. So Amex did not set out and do all these photo shoots and then give them all of this. They asked them to just spend their lives, enjoy the rewards, go travel in these cities and post it, and just use Amex Ambassador and Amex Platinum as the hashtags. So a lot of companies are coming, not just e-commerce, but B2B, B2C. They're really starting to see the benefit here because there's a trust and an authenticity that is often lost with big brands or brands that have become very large, where it is hard to get the trust and get them to believe that it's not just an ad, but that it's in their best interest to look at this product or look at this offering. So there is competition coming for e-commerce brands from these big guys. So it is important to adopt this and really hone it and learn it before it becomes really saturated. So how do you do that? Great question. So it's a multidimensional marketing plan. We believe that influencer marketing needs to just be a part of your marketing plan. Back in the day, which makes me sound super old, it used to be digital marketing versus traditional. And I actually remember the switch when I'd be working in these companies and it was all print ads, TV commercials, radio ads. I actually worked on direct mail campaigns for a while, which again makes me sound very old. But then there was a big switch to digital and it became a fight. No, no, no. Traditional is the way to go. We have to keep doing print and commercials and radio. We can't adopt this new way. There's no ROI. It's not good. But digital's here, websites, display ads, email, social media. It didn't need to be a fight. It shouldn't have been us versus them or only one way to do things. When we now look at the landscape of marketing plans, good big brands have all of this incorporated. You have your display ads and your social media, but you also might have TV commercials. Look at some of the biggest brands, Nike's, Oreos. They have TV commercials going on during the Super Bowl, but they still do a ton of digital marketing. But there's little brands that do it as well. I've worked for small startups where we actually still do direct mailers. Vidyard does an incredible job of this, of sending out direct mail video players to prospects, but they still pair that with, a bit.ly link to go to a dedicated landing page and then retarget with display ads. So the traditional thinking of us versus them, it's kind of done, and people have realized we have to meld these together. But what we're seeing is that the current tactics are starting to lag a little bit. And this happened when you were only doing traditional, and hence the rise of digital, because those tactics stopped working. And we're kind of seeing that now again, where current tactics are relying really heavily on brand loyalty, especially if you're a DTC or an e-commerce brand that's trying to compete with a lot of other similar products. A lot of the bigger brands are just relying on brand loyalty. You have limited email and prospect lists, and those get hard. You have to get people to sign up, especially with all the new GDPR restrictions. Building and getting those email lists is becoming something that is challenging for a lot of brands. You need much larger budgets. You have to buy a lot more software now for a lot of these digital tactics, but print and direct mail is not cheap. It's becoming expensive for your cost per click and to compete with SEO keywords. Your ROI tends to be a bit lower, 2 to 3% on a lot of the efforts that you're making. You're limited to your social followers. So again, that's really hard to build that audience, especially when a lot of channels had a rise and then slightly dropped. Facebook was really popular for businesses for a while, but now we're seeing it decline. So it is hard to grow that social following, especially to a place where it's going to impact your ROI and your sales. It often takes much longer to create your creative outsourcing collateral. So if you're a small company, maybe you have a 2-person marketing team, one of them's a graphic designer, hopefully, but maybe it's a shared job between a few other roles. It's hard to get enough creative out there. Can you get 15 to 20 different variations on an ad that's just going to run for 2 weeks and then need to be refreshed? It is a lot of work. Agencies are expensive, and not every company can take them on. And then ad blockers. So this is one that a lot of people don't think about, but I have one running. I'm the worst, I know, but I have an ad blocker running. Most of my family does. And there was this statistic that it's tripled in usage in the year 2019. So it stops a lot of your pop-ups, your widgets. It can block ads. So it's really impacting your bottom line, your dollar, and your ad efforts. So there is a little bit of a, what do we do? And we're seeing this is back to when it was traditional's not working. So I guess we have to just go full digital. But what we're saying is, if you introduce influencer marketing, you don't have to just do us versus them. You don't have to just do fully digital or fully traditional or fully influencer. The best part about influencer marketing is it fits into any plan, regardless if you're using traditional or digital or both. It really is the harmony that's going to bring everything together and increase your tactics. And I can prove it. So when we rely heavily on brand loyalty, influencer marketing actually builds better trust with consumers. I believe it's something like 82% of consumers actually have bought a product that was recommended to them by an influencer or a creator, because there's just more trust and loyalty because they have spent their time building an audience, and that's their whole goal. And that is entirely what they do, is foster and nurture and build that audience. So they have far more trust than a big brand. When you're limited to email lists and prospect lists, you can actually further your reach with an influencer's audience. Again, they have that curated, amazing audience, and they have far more reach than you probably have with just an email list. So leverage that. You might need larger budgets. The best part about influencer marketing, it scales to fit any budget. I think the minimum cost you need to get involved and to actually see an impact is $2,500, but it scales depending on if you're using a nano or a micro or a macro influencer. I'll tell you about that, don't worry. And it will fit any budget. So it is not going to break the bank. This is not a $150,000 investment. This is something that any size company at any scale, at any stage can get involved in. The ROI can be up to 11 times. Perfect world, it's super, super high, but the average earned media for every dollar spent in influencer marketing was $5.78. It's insane how much more ROI you actually get from influencer marketing than you do just your traditional and digital marketing tactics, which is why it's an amazing tactic to add into the fold. You have access to multiple channels. So the best part about working with an influencer is they probably have almost all the channels covered. They might even have channels that you don't as a business. They might have Pinterest. They probably have already started on TikTok, but they might have way more knowledge and depth into these social channels. There's a lot of brands who don't have Snapchat, Pinterest, TikTok, but they might be selling stuff that was going to do amazingly well on these. Why not leverage an expert who knows what they're doing on these platforms, understands how to make them, and stay on top of the trends, instead of trying to hire someone and figure that out yourself through a lot of trial and error and a lot of wasted time and potential. Creators act like a creative agency. So the best part about creators, like I mentioned before, they're going to make the videos, they're going to make the photos, they're going to really help you guys create amazing ads. It's going to take a lot of that burden off your own team and allow you to focus on more important aspects of your plan and your strategy. And finally, whitelisting. So ad blockers are tripling in adoption. People just are really against seeing brand ads. The best part about working with creators is being able to whitelist. So at #paid, when you work with our creators and our influencers, you can whitelist the ads that they've created. So they've created beautiful photos and beautiful stories in their description, and you get to actually keep that and you can use that as a paid ad. So instead of seeing products coming from a brand, they're actually going to see their favorite influencer popping up and recommending that they check out this product or service or offering. It does way better than traditional paid ads because there's just more authenticity, there's more humanness to it, and it's not a brand trying to push a product. It is someone that they have built trust with and an audience that they know, and they're promoting it to them. There it is. So yeah, 82% of consumers are highly likely to take the recommendation of an influencer they follow. So the trust is just growing. And as you can see on the right-hand side, there's a lot of reasons why you need to work this into your plan, because it's only going to help enhance everything that you're doing. So it doesn't have to replace anything. We're not saying influencer marketing and nothing else. We're saying that it is one of the best tactics to roll into what you're already doing. So the big question then comes, okay, you mentioned some numbers. I bet this is more expensive than you're letting on. Like, it has to be. What are the costs here? The best part about this is that it's for every budget and every business. If you are a Fortune 500 company and you want to dump $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 into influencer marketing, that's fine. You're still going to see results. But if you're small and you're starting up and you're in your first couple of years and you just want to test the waters, it is super affordable, but you're still going to see the results. So one of the things I have to cover before I talk about the budget is what are the differences. I've dropped some of these words, celebs, micro, macro, nano. So they all have their own verbiage, but what it gets down to is just what their follower level is. So celebrities are over 1 million followers, macro 100K to 1 million, nano less than 10K. The super interesting thing about this is if you look at the image, just because you have more followers does not mean your engagement levels are there. So what you're typically going to see with these giant celebrities like the Kim Kardashians, I can't think of anyone else, which is why I keep using her, Kim Kardashians, she might have millions of followers. Her engagement level is less than 2%. because she's not fostering and building that community. She is there just to share. She has the following. She's not going to lose the following, but she has to put no effort into keeping them. When you look at Nano, sure, they have less followers, but their engagement and conversion rates are off the chart. So you have to ask yourself, what is your goal when going into influencer marketing? And if it's just brand awareness and you just want followers and that's what you're going for, sure, celebrity and macro is probably what you want. But if you're trying to drive traffic to a website, you're trying to drive sales, you're trying to drive conversion, then you want to look at the nano and the micro influencers because you're going to get way more ROI for your money. And here's an example. So I looked at Kim Kardashian versus Cara and Nate. Cara and Nate are probably one of my favorite YouTube travel influencers. If you don't follow them, they're adorable and you should. But when we look at the two of them, we look at the fact that they only have 567 posts and Kim Kardashian has almost 6,000. They have 386,000 followers, which is really impressive. It puts them up a little bit. They're not nano, they're not micro, they're about macro level. Kim has 190 million. So a lot of people would go, oh my God, I would love Kim to just put my product out there. But when we look at the estimated costs, Cara and Nate are about $1,100 for a post, and Kim is almost $500,000. And the big kicker is her engagement rate is 1.64%, where Cara and Nate is 12. Your money and your efforts are going to go way further with Cara and Nate if you're in the travel, camping, biking, that industry, and that's what you're selling. Their engagement rate is amazing. And that's what you're looking for. You really want an influencer that has that engagement rate because it means that their audience trusts them, but that they're building that audience, that they're there to nurture them, grow them, talk to them, and they understand who they're selling to. And I think that relationship's going to go much farther, especially if you are just starting out and you're really just trying to close those sales, boost conversions, boost website traffic. You want to use someone who's going to have that engagement that people respect and trust and are going to want to click through it versus someone with a 1.64 engagement rate. So I like to bring that up because a lot of people get swayed by celebrities and, oh, I want a celebrity. Wouldn't it be amazing? No. So when we look at the cost per channel, I have this all broken down here. I'll run through it pretty quick, but you'll see on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, these are average costs. So nano influencers are going to be your cheapest. They obviously have less following, but their engagement is usually amazing. And they cost anywhere from 10 to 100, 22 to 20. So really you're looking at probably 100 at the higher end for them. When you go up to, let's say, macro, and those are the ones that are like the Caras and the Nates, 500,000 or a bit higher, these tend to get a little bit more expensive for Instagram. Facebook also really high for posts. So I would ask yourself what channel makes the most sense for you. A lot of companies see great returns on Instagram, being one of the most popular ones. So you don't have to hit every channel if you don't want to. Really look at the ones that matter the most to you and pick your influencers accordingly. We also have YouTube and TikTok on here. YouTube is becoming really popular as well. And for the time being, it is still really affordable to jump in on YouTube as well as TikTok. So ask yourself what your goals are, where you believe your audience really is, and where you're going to see the most impact. And as you can see between the two of them, it really is affordable. You aren't going to break the bank on this. You're going to be able to test and really get your name out there on different channels without having to become an expert in 5 different social channels overnight. And then also learn their ad platforms and then also learn how to build and create an audience from there. And then finally, it's not too late to get started with influencer marketing. So a big thing we hear is, well, it must be like all the other software I buy for marketing. It must take months, right? I must have to go through a demo and then get approval. And how much is this each year? Is this $120,000? And oh, well, Black Friday's just around the corner. I have no time to make an ad and do this. All false, all false, 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 false. So I don't want to stress anyone out, but Black Friday is 6 weeks away. But you have more than enough time to get started. So the average campaign takes between 4 to 6 weeks from day one to launch. So day one being, I am writing up my campaign, I'm submitting my campaign and my key messaging. I know exactly what this will look like. I've planned it out. Here we go. To It's out in the wild. People are seeing it. People are engaging with it. So you definitely have time to get these started. 6 weeks from this date is Black Friday, and then you have a couple of days till Cyber Monday, but you can definitely get a campaign up and going and make that cutoff. The minimum amount to get started to see best results is 2,500. So why? Because you want to be able to make sure you're getting more than one influencer. So actually with $2,500, you're able to get between 5 and 8 influencers actually on board to put out posts, which is amazing. You're diversifying your ads. You're working with multiple creators. It's going to give you the best ROI. We do have a lot of people that will come in and go, well, I'm just going to pick this one influencer. I like them personally, so it's going to be great. Here we go. But we always recommend, please, minimum 2,500, because that's how you're going to see the best results. You need to diversify and work with a few different people and really get your advertising out there. You don't need to come in with $100,000 and away you go. You'll be able to see results and test this with 2,500. So 6 weeks till Black Friday, only takes 4 to 6 weeks to work, and a minimum of 2,500. This is something that anyone can jump in and start testing. There's nothing holding you back. You have the time. It is a low cost to entry to get in there and to get your brand out there. So I recommend that you try this for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. You pick those influencers, you put an ad out there, you direct them to a landing page that you've got set up just for this, or a product that you're trying to sell, and you work to build this to boost your conversions and your traffic on the day of. Or you start thinking about a campaign for after Black Friday, Cyber Monday to get those repeat customers. So maybe it's something about, finding influencers who bought things from you on Black Friday, and then you're going to use them to drive people back to your store after the holiday is done. There's a lot of time and a lot of reasons why you should definitely consider this, especially with the low cost to entry. And then the final thing is platforms like #paid. I'm going to plug it, are self-serve. So you can actually set up your own campaign. So that's a big thing to look for as well. Obviously, you don't want to be sitting in back-to-back demos that take days and weeks. You want to be able to find a platform that you can jump in with a credit card today and start your campaign and go, this is what I want to do, and I just want to test it and see if this works for me. Obviously, we have lots of people that can help and jump in and give insight, but the really great thing is that you can get started on your own. You really can, and you can test this out, and you can see how this works for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. The other great thing about it, about why you should test it, is there's a lot of competition. When you look at emails, when you look at traditional display ads, every brand and every company is doing it, and they're just out there hitting everybody with multiple touch points, and the noise is overwhelming. With influencer marketing, you're going to hit me with a brand or an influencer that I follow and trust already. It's going to be directly in my feed, and I'm going to look at it and I'm going to interact with it, because it's not an ad from a brand that I don't know. This is my audience, my space. You're stopping my thumbs from scrolling because I follow this person and I like looking at what they share. So that's another huge reason to take 2,500, jump in and get started. You're going to be able to break through the noise of traditional advertising during this holiday season, and hit people exactly where they live in their social spaces. So I highly recommend that you guys test it out. I know that I dropped a lot on everyone though, and 30 minutes is a lot to pack all of this in. So check out the link. There's a lot more info there about how you can actually get up and running. There's a lot of great insights from some amazing e-commerce experts and gurus who talk about why influencer marketing for Black Friday specifically is great. But also just reach out to me, ask me questions, email me, hit me up on Twitter. I've built a lot of marketing plans over my time, and I really do believe that influencer marketing is the breakthrough tactic that people need to work in, because it just enhances everything that is becoming a bit stagnant right now, and increases that ROI and increases my ad spend, but really just helps me build a better audience with really great creators who are making some awesome collateral for me. So I know I went over by 2 minutes, but I hope that this all made sense and I didn't dump too much on all of you. But reach out to me, hit me up on Twitter or email me. I will answer your questions offline and hopefully help you get ready to start testing this out for Black Friday.